Hey guys, I just wanted to talk to you about something really briefly. If you read the title of this video, um, it's about how can I trust God when bad things happen? And I had a moment yesterday where I asked that, which has never happened to me before. Um, and I got really frustrated that I actually started crying, that I was even questioning that in my mind. Because I've had so many people ask me that before, like, this happened in my life, so how can I trust that God is good? Or how can I trust God? And my answer is always like, things happen, but God is good. And I've always been so firm in that answer that I've never even asked it myself. So I was really frustrated that I didn't even want to ask the Lord. And I felt such an invitation from him where he said, Abby, you can ask me the hard questions. It's okay. And so I asked him, and so I told him, like, Lord, I know your word is true. God, I've seen you do so many miracles, not only in my life, but in other people's lives. Like, I know you never fail, but there's been so much going on lately, not only in my life, but in so many people that are very close and dear to me. And, you know, people that have been like believing for things and it just didn't work out the way that they thought or they hoped. And so I asked that question to him, and his answer was so beautiful to me. So I was asking him, like, so what about when bad things happen? What about when people get sick? What about when people die? What about when things don't work out the way that we thought that they would have or should have worked out? And I loved that his answers were things that I already knew so deeply and so rooted in my heart. But it was such a needed, gentle reminder from him. And so I hope that it'll be the same for you. So really, like, what he was speaking to me is, of course, like, God does not cause bad things to happen. God does not bring sickness and disease and disappointment and, you know, unmet expectations and relationships breaking up and job loss. Like, he does not cause bad things to happen, because he is only and always good. God is only and always good. But we do live in a world where there are trials. But he showed me that in everything there is good, and in everything there is victory. And so he was saying, like, for instance, when someone dies, like when someone passes away, if they know me, they're going to heaven. So there may have been a temporary bad situation or a temporary sickness, but it ultimately ends in victory, because they're ultimately with the Father. Even the word says that to die is gain. So really, there's victory in that, and there's good in that. And even like when someone doesn't get what they've been hoping for, you know, whether it's a relationship didn't work out, a job, you didn't get the job you wanted, or a job loss, or maybe you were believing for a house or a specific car or something like that. And it just, anything in your life that maybe just did not work out the way that you thought it would, and maybe it led to disappointment and just unmet expectations, and maybe asking that question of, God, why didn't this work out the way that I thought it would have or should have? And in all of those things, and I can say this personally in my life too, and in everyone I know that walks with the Lord, even if it doesn't work out the way that you thought it would or should, he makes it so much better than you could ever even imagine. And so every single thing, every situation, every season, every circumstance, he works it out for good, because he is good. Remember, God is only good, and he only does good. And so the circumstance may seem bad in the moment. You or someone you know might be going through something really bad or really hard, really difficult. But the final destination of that is good. And so along the journey, whatever it may be, whatever it is that you or someone else may be walking through, along the way, it's being transformed into good and for God's glory. And I can say that because Romans 8:28, it's one of my favorite scriptures. It says, so we are convinced that every detail of our lives is continually woven together for good. For we are his lovers who have been called to fulfill his designed purpose. So when you have that question of something bad happened, or something happened not the way I thought, it may not seem good in the moment, but you have the promise that God will make it good. So if you're going through something right now, even if you don't understand it, you don't understand why it happened or did not happen the way that it did, you can trust that even if it does not seem good right now, God will work it all out for your good, and it will bring him glory. It doesn't matter how terrible or how bad it may seem. God is the God of the impossible. He's the God that does exceedingly and abundantly all we can ask, think, or imagine. And so you have that promise. In my life, I've had to say, like, in really hard times, I'm like, God, this really doesn't feel good right now. Like, this really sucks, honestly. But I can't wait to see how you're going to make it good. Because in everything, in death, in loss, in hard circumstances, whatever it is, you have the promise that he's going to work it out for your good and for his glory. So that really brought peace and really just rest to my heart, and I pray that it does for you too. So just have that assurance that even if it doesn't seem good right now, you have the promise that God is going to make it good. And so I love you guys. I pray that this blessed you and it ministered to you just as much as it did to me. See you later.